Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another Final Fantasy Brave Access video, and this is going to be another unit review for Serah, New Vision Awakening, and Solitary Patron Snow. So, let's get into Serah first. Being a new type of character, being able to be a damage dealer and a healer in a different capacity than Aerith. For example, she does a lot of different things compared to Aerith. Reading into that. So infinite turns, which is the best part, I think. One of the best parts. If she didn't have infinite turns, we'll talk about why that would happen. Anyways, more aquatic evening killers, more mod increases, 300% magic buff on a chaining ability. Now she has bolting strike frame, which is pretty good on the global side. Much better than the JP side. But now the JP side has more bolting strike frames in the future. But anyways, her normal form is not nearly as good as what we're going to talk about now, and her Brave Shift form, top G healer kit. She has all the things that you would ever want in a healer, really. Multiple reset buttons, tons of protections. She has some light chaining on the side if you want to do that. Her Lunar Burst gives 7.5k HP barrier, 100% status immunity, and 50% general mitigation for those 5 turns. Plus a lot of other things involved with that. She has a cooldown, which is really amazing. She has a Grand Disability, which is really amazing. She has dual cast for everything for black magic and green magic and white magic and all that kind of good stuff. She has triple cast for all those other stuff that she wants to do. Good. The only negative I can even think of is she just needs some Esper Gauge generation. So just go ahead and do that. And her STMR got buffed on the global side, so maybe you can make her 300% or 400% magic TDH, but I don't think it's really necessary. You're not bringing her to be a damage dealer, you're bringing her to be a healer. Her normal form is just not amazing or phenomenal. Just stick to her. Brave Shift form, because she's a healer now, not so much a damage dealer. Yes, by the way, for anyone who's going to comment, yes, she does have Esper generation with her chaining ability. We kind of want to have that at the start of the turn, not while you're doing the turn. So you want to go ahead and give herself some of those parasols or some materials to give her some Esper generation. She only needs a few per turn. So don't go overboard. Don't go to like the crazy extreme. She only needs a few here and there. So as long as you can continue to generate Esper orbs every single turn, you're good. You're chef kisses. So I'm gonna be giving her a 9 out of 10, and I think that may be the same score I gave her on the JP side, just because she's very good in the way that she's able to do all those kind of things that she can do. It's all the things that you would expect in a healer and more. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for Serah. If by the way, if anyone's listening, if you have no healers at all and you have a bunch of Serahs, go ahead, you should do it. If you have Aerith, now you may not be saying, oh, I have Aerith, I don't need to worry about it, but I think that she's better than Aerith, my opinion. My opinion. Anyways, if you're watching this far in the video, please give a like on the video. That'd be great. Thank you very much. Next, we got Solitary Patron Snow. So his STMR is pretty good, but really only good for him. But maybe, actually no, hold on. This would be pretty good on if the Spirit damage dealing Chinese, I can't remember their names right now. The Spirit based Chinese unit. The tag team, they're not an actual tag team, like the duo unit. This would be good for them. So it's much better on the global side than the JB side as well, because there are actually some people who like to have that besides him. Infinite turns, physical on his normal form, so physical cover I mean, magic cover on his Brave Shift form, 90% general mitigation for himself of course, because it'd be kind of ridiculous to do AoE for that. You need 48 Lone Burst crystals, so you need a way to generate Lone Burst crystals per turn. On a lot of them, if you want to do that, because it only lasts for 2 turns. 100% defense Spirit True Dual Wield, and also 250% defense True Shield Dual Hand. I just made that up, but it's the defense TDH without a shield and whatnot. So there's that. Dark Imbue in his Brave Shift form, which is very good. And he has Spirit Magic. It's like the Ace type, but it's Spirit based. Attacks 200 times mod finisher, very good. 130 times magic asterisk damage with Spirit Scaling Limit Burst. He has 150% Limit Burst damage, 250% damage, Limit Burst damage ability. So very good all around if you want him to do that kind of stuff. But the one reason why I will always say that this guy is not nearly as good as Fiend and Daisy is because his magic cover in his Brave Shift form. And you could be the most prepared person in the entire world, but sometimes things can happen and you go over a threshold that you were not expecting for some reason. This happens to me. I'm not taking shots at anybody else. I'm taking sometimes I go over a threshold that I'm not expecting because maybe a counter does more damage than I'm expecting it to do, or I'm way over buffed and I do way more damage than I'm expecting, and you go over a threshold and then your tank gets one-shotted or something. So that can happen to anybody. I'm sure anyone that's watching right now can relate to that. So that's the problem with this guy. If this was reversed and his physical cover would be in his Brave Shift form, that would not even be, his score would be much higher if it was in reverse, because if he was a physical cover tank, it's not that big of a deal because you could just make him evasion or make him insanely tanky so where he wouldn't die. Because most times, if you're needing a physical cover tank for a boss, most times if you just make them insanely tanky or make them 100% evasion, you're good. There's almost no cases where your physical tank will die if you're covering physically. So unfortunately, it's not the reverse. His magic cover is in his Brave Shift form, and that means his score is going to be going down a lot because it's just the threat of him dying is just terrible because you can't shift back after he dies. You have to wait. So you might as well just give up after that because you can't recover. Unless you had 2 magic tanks, which I would be kind of crazy to do that, but hey, who am I to judge? He has terrible equipment selections for a tank, extremely terrible. He has very limited selection, and I think that Fiend and Daisy just have far more utility. Yes, this guy has much more mitigation, but you don't really need that much mitigation. You really don't. You really don't need that much mitigation on your units. 50% to 60% is usually is more than good enough to survive with good breaks. So you really don't need super high mitigation, even though it's nice. I think that he needs an EX2 buff. I think that something needs to happen in the future for him to be good. But for now, I'm going to be giving him an 8 out of 10. His score, like I mentioned, if it was the reverse, I would have given him an 8.5 to 9 range. But I can't recommend him. Now, if you have no magic tanks at all, and you don't want to wait for Beatrice, then obviously this is the guy to go for. But we know now, we didn't know when this guy came out originally, we know now that Beatrice is going to be a thing, and she's free from the event. You can get her STMR, her TMR, her base kit, her prism, all that kind of stuff in the event for Final Fantasy IX in the future, and she'll be much better at magic tank than this guy. Much better. She most likely will never die to anything because of her stats. Yes, it's the same situation where her magic tanking is in a Brave Shift form, but she has far more tanking ability. She has way better equipment selection. Her TMR gets buffed crazily big, so she has insane stats. I'm sure everybody's seen it, where she can have over 5,000 spirit. It's just ridiculous. So yes, I'm saying the same thing for both tanks, but the likeliness of her dying is a lot less than this guy. So that's my reasoning. Anyways, 8 out of 10 for him and 9 out of 10 for Serah. Thank you guys for watching. If you watch all the way to the end, make sure to type in #Snow. #Snow. Give a like to the video. Give a subscription. We're almost at 4K subscriptions. Yeah. If you want to go ahead and subscribe, if I've earned your subscription today, please go ahead and do that. And thank you guys for watching. I got a whole bunch of more videos in the production here that I'm going to be putting out the next few days. Usually I'm like, oh, I don't know what I want to do, but I've got a whole bunch of stuff, Chinese version stuff to put out. I've got a whole bunch of other stuff, so stay tuned to all the good stuff we got going on, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.